Good Tuesday morning, friends. Mark Holmes here, of course, with my buddy Cowboy Joe, but who else? Joe Bear, that's who else. And as always, you know, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. So let's get open for business and let's wake up the football gods and Brother Stu. You know, damn it. How many of you out there been married for a long time? I'm on my second marriage, and it's 18 years. 18 years, okay? And, you know, women have a tendency to love to direct and tell you what to do. Now, this is my space down here, okay? My wife has finally given up on, you know, trying to direct it. You know, I've got so much stuff, and shout out to all you great fans out there who have been, you know, giving me stuff and I'm putting it up and things like that. But my wife always says, you know, you need to have like, you know, open wall space and stuff. It's like you got too much stuff. And it's like, look, I like my stuff. So last night before the live stream, I was set up a little bit early. I went through and I dusted the top of this real good. I put Brother Stu up here on the top, and I pared down some of the things that were here. You know, I minimalized it some, okay? This is Randy. Randy Sykes, you won last night, by the way. That's your name. And damn it if she's not right. Damn it to hell. She's right. I had too much shit on here. I just hate to say that she's right. It's not the personal. I love her. I'm glad she's right. But damn it, I want to be right. So we've kind of changed this stuff up a little bit. I actually changed the battery on the clock over there. This right here, this is amazing. This is my dad's alarm clock. It's a Cowboys, look at this. It's a Cowboys AM, FM radio. That will always be on here. And listen, change the batteries in it. You hear that? That's right. And 9:52. Time is still right. This is from like the early 80s. Early 80s. I don't know if you can find that. You probably can find it on Etsy or something like that, but it's something that's been here forever, and I'm amazed that it still works. You know, they don't build stuff like that. So anyway, it's not why you tuned in here this morning. I'm actually happy. It's going to be a busy, busy day because right now it's almost 10 o'clock. We are 6 hours away from the Cowboys having to be at the 53-man roster. And our fearless leader, Jerry Jones, okay? You know, Jerry Jones, who said this morning,
part of leadership is to have some of the guys that have gone before that have been disappointed to share it with everybody involved. For me, it's a reminder. I, too, have been here 23 years. And it is a reminder. I've been here when it was glory hole days, and I've been here when it wasn't. And so having said that, I want me some glory hole.
I think yeah.
So I have that perspective.
Yeah, he wants some glory. He still wants some glory holes right now. But he has said that this morning on the Fan that the Cowboys are going to probably keep 3 or 5 more defensive players than offensive players. So my conundrum was looking at how the Cowboys have literally had an embarrassment of riches between what it used to be. We used to look at it and say safeties sucked. We didn't have any safety. We were talking about trying to bring in anybody as a safety. I mean, we tried Clinton, Dix in here and all that, okay? And we were talking about Earl Thomas in here. We were talking about trading for Jamal Adams. Now, all of a sudden, we got to be the envy of the NFL with all the young safeties and things that we have right now. Defensive backs, we actually have some good ones there too, contrary to what Philly 500 says. And defensive linemen, oh my God. You know, you're sitting here looking because I have been going crazy because, you know, I look at it and there's so many good guys on there. You know, you look at Carlos Watkins, who was penciled in to be like the starter, who actually is probably on the bubble and may not make the roster. That's how improved the defensive line has been. Nobody thought Tristan Hill was going to make it, but all of a sudden Tristan Hill looks great. You know, so people said, well, maybe Quentin Bohannon or John Ridgeway. would be on the bubble. But they're two young guys that are head bashers that you don't want to get rid of, you know? And all of a sudden you start thinking about even the defensive ends. You know, I love what Dante Fowler has done this offseason. I love what Terrell Besham. Goldston is still a young guy that's still got, you know, the lot to go with. Of course, you got Sam Williams. You got D-Law. I mean, you've got so many guys. It's like, I don't want to get rid of any of them. And maybe the Cowboys are looking at this and saying, we're going to be led by our defense. And we're going to make sure that no matter what the offense does, we're going to have the horses to be able to bring wave after offenses. And maybe this isn't a typical Cowboys team. Maybe this isn't the typical Dallas Cowboys team. That while we worry about the offense getting there, they're going to make sure they take care of the defense. And, you know, quite frankly, if you got guys on the offense that you look at and say, that dude ain't going to be a starter. That really holding on to him, that's not the case. Because what you might be able to do is this. Think about this. This is where it actually is wise. If you have guys in the offense that you look at and say, I don't know, you can waive them and maybe bring them back on the practice squad. If you have guys that you know aren't going to be able to clear waivers, you want to keep them on your roster and protect them. And so this could be a strategic move to hold on to them. Here's the other point on this, too. Holding on to these guys, holding on to these defensive players that you look at and say, these guys are capable starters, gives you guys that you can trade when somebody starts losing people and needs help. For once, I'm actually going to say that the Cowboys are really being foresighted, because typically what happens to the Dallas Cowboys is we have great players and we get nothing for them. Amari Cooper, I'm sorry, Dez Bryant, DeMarcus Ware. This way, it at least holds on to those guys with the possibility before that trade deadline that you could move some people. So actually, I applaud that one. And Jerry Jones also made it clear that Tyler Smith's ankle is good to go and that they are going to be ready to start the Tyler Smith era starting now. So that's where we are, at least at this moment. And let's listen in on my man. You know I love Rich Eisen. And Michael Lombardi's joining Rich Eisen and talking about the Cowboys situation on the offensive line and things. And let's see what they have to say.
Coming out of preseason concerns you the most based on off-season maneuvers and whatever you've seen over the last several weeks, Michael?
You know, the Cowboys, they won 12 games last year, and really after the season, that heartbreaking, they got physically beat up, especially in their offensive line against a better 49ers team who dominated them at home that day. And losing Smith, their left tackle, you know, and losing some other elements, Collins, their right tackle. These are two guys that are hard to replace. Now, Terrence Steele's going to go in at right tackle, but what's going to happen? You lose your left tackle in the National Football League. It's hard. It's one of the things the Rams kind of overcame last year when Whitworth went down. Noteboom played well. They were fortunate there. Everybody was worried about that depth there that came through. I would say Dallas, where they were last year and how Philly has improved, to me, is the 1-2 teams that I'm looking at.
Yeah, when Tyron Smith went down, it just sealed for me what I've been trying to talk myself into for the last several weeks, is that Philadelphia, this is their division to snatch from Dallas, because I just didn't like some of the moves that happened with Dallas this offseason. I know Micah Parsons is going to be better, just the way things happen, certainly with generationally talented kids as he appears to be. I just don't know how you replace Tyron Smith despite his injury history over the last couple of years, Michael.
Well, they drafted Tyler Smith to go over there, but they were putting him at left guard, figuring they had another year. Now, we'll see what they do, how they maneuver this offensive line. And he's had a propensity to have holding penalties. So, look, I think the defense can certainly be good. You know, Sam Williams looks like a bright young rookie. I think with Lawrence and some of the other players, Fowler that they signed to replace Randy Gregory, they have a way to be better defensively. But offensively is the biggest concern for me because of they need to have a way to run the football effectively. They don't want Dak throwing it 45, 50 times. I think what they'll do, Rich, is move Pollard as a slot receiver. He'll replace CeeDee Lamb. They'll move Lamb outside to replace Amari Cooper. Hopefully they get Michael Gallup back as they go, and the Jalen Tolberts and Noah Browns, those guys have to take a giant Mother May I step forward.
And they're going to have to figure all that stuff out against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady on the first Sunday night of the season in front of the whole country. We talk about a difficult spot to work out the kinks. What is your sense of things with the Buccaneers? Brady being back, he had a little cup of coffee, but there's a lot of issues right there in front of him. What are your 2 cents on that, Mike Lombardi?
Well, like you said, Rich, when you have a lot of stuff going on in your life, it's challenging as we get older.
Yeah.
It's the age
What a line.
thing that gets us. Although he's undefeated against Father Time. Let's be clear here. He's the only one who's been able to
So far.
Father Time in the eye. But I think the offensive line's got to concern him. I think that Godwin not being 100% healthy has to concern him. And they're going to have to ride their defense a little bit earlier in the season as their offense kind of gets together. In the Indianapolis game, watching the tape of him, he looks like he's 35. When I went to the Patriots in 14, and I watched the tape the other day of him against Indianapolis, he looked the same. I mean, he doesn't age. He's an ageless wonder. He's truly he's found that cocoon that Ron Howard wrote the movie about. I don't know where it is, but Tom has found it. And so it's great. And I think their defense has got to do the one that carry the work. I think missing Gronk, O.J. Howard never manifested himself to the player that they hope. Can Cameron Brate, Kyle Rudolph, are they going to be able to step up and fill that void? There's a lot of moving pieces in Tampa. And I think Todd Bowles is a really good coach. And I think he'll prove to be a better head coach than he was with the Jets. But I think the first month of September is going to be a little sorting out.
All right. Interesting take there on where Tampa Bay is right now. That, you could almost look at Tampa Bay and the Cowboys. We're both in the same situation. You look at it with the offensive lines that are both having problems. Tampa Bay has worse offensive line issues than we do, and definitely two teams that are going to be led by their defense, at least early on until we get a footing. And, Tyler Smith, hopefully picks it up real quick and gets this thing going. So we're going to be definitely, I've got some work to do in the workshop. I've got some new items that we are making, and so I'm going to be doing a lot of work in there. So we may end up doing a live stream while I'm working and creating some new stuff, and keep you up to date, because we definitely have to see who is going to be here on the roster. Interesting, the Cowboys going to keep 3 to 5 more defensive players than offensive ones. All right. Hope you're having a great day. I think we have a league draft tonight for another one of our fantasy football leagues. I'll check and see if we do that live or not. I'm Mark Holmes, and I appreciate you guys as always.
Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report.
You did one hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is, how about